Hello! I've been wanting to record some Christmas and New Year yoga for you for days, but every time I've had the time, I've had a migraine. It's not been an ideal week for recording and doing all the work I had planned to get done over this restful time. So I'm going to start today's class with some breath work that helps me when I do have migraines. It also helps when I'm really stressed and anxious. So we're going to start with that. I've got my cozy poncho on because I've got the door open to get some nice light in here, and it's icy cold outside. So once we get moving a bit, I'll be taking this off, but for now it's super lightweight and super cozy, and I can highly recommend them if you want one. My friend is selling off her cashmere stock, so they're bargain price at the moment as well. Let me know if you want a link and I'll send you a link. It's not an affiliate marketing thing, it's just me supporting my friend. So before we get into the actual breath work, just slow the breath down and gently start with some really gentle neck circles. Really gentle, tiny little bit of movement here because we haven't warmed the shoulders up yet. But just really so you can feel if you have got any tension in the neck. Now I want you to go as slowly as possible. The neck can be even more delicate than usual in the colder months, and certainly for me it's where I hold a lot of my stress. It's the cause of a lot of my migraines. So we're just slowing the breath down while we gently mobilise this neck and shoulder area. I don't know if you can see under my poncho, I'm just allowing the shoulders to fall forwards, breathing in as I bring them up to my ears, breathing out as I squeeze back and start to open the chest, and then sliding them down my back. So again, nice and slowly. I can take my arms out if that helps. Just a tiny little bit of movement, and then just lubricating the spine. Side to side, maybe a bit of forwards and around in a circle. Now for you, those of you that don't know me, I'm Faye. I specialise in slower, more mindful yoga. It's a mixture of yoga and Pilates, which is my first love, but my first love is Pilates done in a yoga style. My second love is yoga done in a Pilates style. And I have had osteopenia for most of my life, so I teach stuff that is safe if you have low bone density, and I give options if you know that you're okay and you can progress and make them a little bit harder, the postures. But there's so much yoga and Pilates which can be great if you have lower bone density or osteoporosis, but there is so much that you really don't want to be doing as well. So if you have any confusion about that, let me know and I can explain more what you should and shouldn't be doing. I'm just stretching out my legs a little bit here, just gently pushing one foot forwards and then the other. We're going to get going in the breath work in a minute. Let me just show you what's going on here. I've still got my woolly socks on too. So I'm just sat on my sit bones, sitting up nice and straight. You can see there's no slouch in my back, really elongating my spine. And then just gently pushing one leg forward, slight flexion in the feet, ankles. Just pushing one forwards and then the other. So it's just a nice gentle stretch all the way up the leg into the hip joints. If you haven't done any exercise over Christmas, then you might just appreciate this gentle movement, even if you prefer a stronger practice normally. Now I'm going to sit cross-legged now. If that's a comfortable position for you, then do the same. If it's not, then just find any comfortable position. I've got my left ankle on top first because for some reason my left side is not as tight as my right at the moment. My right side is so tight, and unsurprisingly that's where I've had the migraine, in my right side. So we're going to do that breath work that I promised. I'm going to start with some box breath. So box breath, if you don't know it, is also called the 4-4 breath. I'm going to close my eyes because, as I said, I have had a migraine and it's much nicer for me to have my eyes closed at the moment. And now we've got the breath slowed down. Other than the breath, the only thing I want you to think about is elongating your spine as you breathe in. So just imagining you've got a bit of string in your head and it's pulling you up gently. And then as you breathe out, just soften any tension that you feel anywhere, but try and maintain that elongation. Try not to just sink back down. So we elongate as we breathe in, and we try and maintain that as we breathe out. The 4-4 breath is a little bit more complicated. Imagine a square as we do it. So you breathe in, and then we're going to hold, breathe out, hold. That's why it's called the box breath, because we're drawing the 4 sides of a box. So I'm going to count to 4 as I breathe in. I'm not going to count out loud, because if you can't maintain that rhythm, that's fine. You can breathe in for 2 or 3. 4 is what is taught the most commonly. That's why it's also called the 4-4 breath. So let's just slowly try. So breathing in and holding, and slowly breathing out and holding. Keep going, breathing in, hold, breathe out, hold. Don't wait for me to tell you, keep going at your own rhythm. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. So remember, you're counting in for as long as you can, holding for the same amount of time, breathing out slowly for the same amount of time, and holding for the same amount of time. Let's do a couple more rounds. Breathing in, hold, breathing out, hold, breathing in, breathing out. One more round, holding for a couple of seconds, breathing in, hold, out, and slowly letting your breath return to a nice, slow, but just normal breath pattern. If you've got your eyes shut, bring your hands up to cover your eyes and slowly open them. Give your head a little gentle rub or stroke. That's particularly nice if you've got cold hands when you've got a migraine. And then let the arms relax down. Now if you're sitting cross-legged, just change which ankle is on top to give the other leg a bit of a stretch. If you're not cross-legged and you need to shift position, then now's a great time to do so. Okay, so we're going back to the shoulder rolls and just making them a bit bigger. So I'm going to take my hands up onto my shoulders and get the elbows involved. So the elbows are going to lead the way. Just lift my poncho out of the way. So the elbows come forwards and up as we breathe in. And then we really take them back. So we're really extending the chest open. Take the elbows back and down. The shoulders are going to come down too. So it's like the shoulder roll from before, but bigger. Much more of a chest opener. Still elongating the spine as you breathe in. Oh, lovely. So this practice today is a nice one to do around New Year. Oh, it's got a lot of heart opening, a lot of twisting. It's a very slow, gentle practice, perfect for this, the darkest time of the year. Now you can keep going like that, or you can do cactus arm shoulder circles, which is bringing your hands and arms into the cactus position. Cactus arms come forwards, up, back and down. I find this really hard because of the tension in my shoulders. And normally the tension in my shoulders isn't as bad as it has been the past couple of weeks. But guess what? I haven't been doing much yoga the past couple of weeks. I've been doing a lot of walking because it's been such gorgeous weather. Now just gently twisting. So we're just gently starting to warm up the spine. But yeah, my yoga practice has been neglected because I've not been teaching. And it's cold. And although I've got this nice little space to practice in, sometimes when I'm curled up with the dogs in the bus, even walking over here seems like too much effort. Okay, so I'm just twisting the spine. I'm not leading with the arms. The arms are moving, but the movement starts in the spine. So I've lengthened the spine, I'm turning the spine, and then the arms are following. Once the arms are round, then I'm going to extend a little bit more, trying to really stretch behind the shoulder blades. I'm going to take this a little bit deeper. So as we twist now, twisting with the spine, take the hand to the knee. You might want to take the other hand behind you, but you're pulling mostly on the knee, pulling yourself into a deeper twist. You can feel the chest opening, the heart opening. And release. Breathe in, lengthen as we come back to the centre. Breathe out, round to the other side. Other hand to other knee. And pull on that knee. So hopefully you can feel a stretch going up right behind the shoulder blade there. Now people get migraines for many different reasons. Mine generally stem from tension in my shoulders or my neck. Lengthen up. Twist. Let's do it again. Gently pull on the knee. See if you can pull that same side shoulder round a little bit more, pushing the other shoulder back, opening the heart and the chest. Lengthen, twist round and gently pull. I can really feel it getting right behind my scapula, which is just what I need right now. And then anytime you need to, just roll the shoulders out. Okay, so now we've loosened up the shoulders a bit more, we can do a bit more on the neck. Now in the winter, a lot of people get a lot more neck tightness, a lot more neck problems. When I had my massage clinic, I would always get people in the winter. I never saw the rest of the year, but because they're cold and you're hunched up and your body subconsciously is kind of tensing up, trying to keep you warm, people get a lot more neck and shoulder tension. Okay. So now I'm just going to let the right ear go down towards the right shoulder. You want to keep the right shoulder relaxed and don't let the left shoulder come up. Gently place the hand on the head and just gently pull. So these are just normal stretches. I'm going to do another video with fascial stretches, which is a completely different and very weird if you're used to normal stretches. The fascial stretches feel really counterproductive, and I do sometimes include them in my normal classes, but they take a little while to get used to, so I'm not going to include any in here, and I'll do a specific video all about them. So now it's left ear to left shoulder, hand gently on the side of the head, keeping both shoulders relaxed. Gently pull, so you're feeling that stretch down the side of the neck probably. This is a nice one if you've got a helpful partner or friend. You can get someone to gently put some pressure, pop their hand, gently push down on there. In fact, they can do this stretch to you. They can have their hand on your head and their arm there. And it's a much better way to do it. Having someone do it to you, in my opinion, much better than trying to do it to yourself, because there's always the risk that you're tensing up the opposite side when you're doing it to yourself. And gently back. And then we're going to tip the head back gently. If you've got osteoporosis in your spine, you want to be careful with tipping your head back and forward. So depending on the severity, I've got osteopenia, which is not osteoporosis, so I do still do some head movements. But if you know that you've got osteoporosis in your spine, don't do this. Even if you suspect it, you need to be very careful with the weight of your head. So you can see I've added in a sneaky little neck massage. Now, it took me a long time to get used to doing this. I used to hate it, but it's so beneficial. I've kind of got used to it. I'm popping my fingers, or you can do it with your knuckles. Fingers is a bit more gentle though. And kind of pushing in just above the clavicle. And then you're not pushing into the neck, you push in near the clavicle, but then it's an upwards thing. So you're gently pushing upwards, you're stretching the fascia up towards the jaw. Really slow movement. You don't have to have your head as far back. Up towards the jaw. And up towards the face. I'm also going to do a video of face massage, because that is my favourite thing to do. I've got lots of massage videos that I have done. I've never done a face massage one, and it's such a relaxing, beautiful thing to do to yourself. Okay, so we've done some neck stretches, we've done some shoulder stretches. Let's just go back to those neck circles, seeing if we can take them a bit deeper now. Still going slowly, and any sign of a twinge, back down. Don't push past that point. The neck is such a delicate area, especially if it is tight, and some sudden movement can be the last thing that you want. Let's go back in the other direction. So we start off chin to chest, if you need step by steps. Gently turning ear to shoulder as we rise. Gently taking the ear back, rotating the head so the nose points to the ceiling, and then opposite ear to shoulder to complete the second half of the circle. Slowly, slowly drawing the circle with your nose back down, chin to chest, and let's go back the other way. So the way we've just come, ear to shoulder. Coming back. Around opposite ear to shoulder. I'm so tight in that right side. What have I been doing? And then back down. Rolling through the shoulders again. And I take my hands to my knees. I think I might be keeping my poncho on for a while. It's getting colder outside. The sun's gone down. So this is like seated cat-cow. So we're allowing the spine to curve. Now I do this on an out breath so I can really draw the pelvic floor up to push the belly to the spine. If you're used to more traditional yoga, you might do this on an in breath. Doesn't really matter so long as you're keeping your spine safe. I breathe in here, lengthening up. So I do everything on an out breath actually, both cat and cow. So I'm lengthening up on an in breath and then breathing out, pushing the chest forwards, opening the heart, stretching out here. If you have got a lot of shoulder tension, often it starts here. We're also hunched over these days. So if you're having lots of work done or you're working on stretching the back of your shoulders and it's not making any difference, then try stretching out the front of your shoulders. So we're going back into cat. This is more traditionally done on hands and knees. Breathing in, lengthening up, but I like to do it like this as well. And it's easier if you have got osteoporosis, because it's easier to keep your head in line with your spine. The danger with cat-cow when we do it traditionally is the weight of the head dropping down can be enough for some people to fracture their spines. So breathing in, lengthening up, breathing out, pushing the chest forwards. If you want to, you can squeeze the elbows back to open up the chest even more. And then rolling back into your C shape. Let's come back up, have another little snake wiggle. I'm going to do a little cactus twist. So we did the cactus arms earlier. In an ideal world, the hands are in line with the elbows and the elbows are in line with the spine. I find it really hard to keep them like this, and most of my clients do too, but we're going to have a go. So lengthening up, relax the shoulders down, try and keep the elbows level with the shoulders, but don't make the shoulders come up round the ears. And then breathe out. Try and keep the arms as they are as you twist. Breathe into the centre. Breathe out to twist. Breathe in. Let's do 2 more each side. Breathe out. So remember, every in-breath, we're lengthening the spine. Every out-breath, we're relaxing the shoulders down. Last one. Breathing into the centre. Oh, that arm's going back a bit. Breathing out to twist. My arms are being relatively well behaved today, that's good. Breathing into the centre, relax the arms down, roll through the shoulders if you need to. Now I'm going to walk the hands forwards. Remember, if you need to adjust your position, then do. If you're not in cross-legged, like if you've got your legs out in front of you, for example, you're going to want to take them wider, so that we can do something like a similar movement. And remember, it doesn't matter if you get to the same position as me or not. It doesn't matter if it looks like it does in the textbooks. We're doing what you can do for you. So I'm cross-legged. I'm just going to start to walk my hands away. This poncho is going to have to go in a minute. It's getting in the way. Walking my hands away slowly. So now I'm going to come down onto my forearms. Just see how I feel here. That's a nice stretch in my left hip I was expecting it more in my right hip actually. If you're doing this with your legs wide, it's harder, so you're probably not going to get beyond that. Just think about lengthening your spine the whole time and just softening. You're not trying to curve the spine, you're trying to just soften. It's a deep stretch on the inner thighs if you've got your legs out. If you're cross-legged, for most people it's a little bit easier. I'm going to go back so you can see a bit better. So you can see I'm lengthening my spine, walking the hands away, and I'm trying to keep the buttocks down towards the mat. Now here's a great time to use a block, to just get a block and you can rest your head on it. So you can really relax into this position. I can go a bit further, so I'm going to lengthen on my in-breath, put my hands one on top of the other, like so, and then just rest my head down onto my hands. If that's too much for you, then get a cushion or a block or another rolled up yoga mat. Got one handily just here actually, I'll show you. So if you haven't got a block but you have got a cushion or a mat or a bolster, then you can use that to just rest your head or your arms down onto. You don't need loads of fancy equipment. You can do so much with just stuff you've got lying around the house. Nobody needs to be spending a fortune on equipment that they may or may not get the benefit of after January. And we just stay in here for a few breaths if we can. If you need to turn your head to one side or the other, then do. If you're happy with your forehead on your hands or your block, then stay there. And remember, every out breath, just imagining the tension dissolving. Slowly pushing back up onto your hands and coming back up to seated. I'm going to stretch my legs out. I'm going to go sideways now so you get a better view. Again, like we did in the warm-up, sitting up nice and straight. Really stretching the legs out. We're going to pull the toes in towards us to really stretch the back of the legs a bit more, and then point the toes away. Let's just repeat that a couple of times. Every in-breath we're still lengthening the spine up. Try and keep the shoulders drawing back so we've always got a little bit of an opening of the front of the chest as we point and flex our feet. You might want to do some ankle rotations here as well, a few in each direction. And then I'm going to bend my legs and just lean back onto my arms. So I'm really pushing the chest open. I'm not arching that lower back. That's a nice straight line up to the back of my head. And I'm going to draw my knees up to my chest. Couple more ankle rotations here. And then we're going to do a couple of frog's legs. So we start with the knees together, ankles together. We're going to take them away from each other, stretching the inner thighs, and then slowly extend and bring them back together. Breathe in, bring them back towards the chest. Breathe out, separate and extend. Bring them back together. This can feel quite tough, so we're only going to do a few, because then we're going to lie all the way back down on the floor and do a few more. Now hopefully this will be the last one, but hopefully as you extend your legs you're feeling the core muscles work to help to support the weight of your legs. Now we're going to check if they're working or not by coming into a lying down position. So lying right down, because I've had this stupid migraine, I'm just going to support my neck with that yoga mat. Now the thing we need to think about here that's different, it's the same movement as we were just doing, but we're going to pay a bit of attention to our back first. So we want to make sure that our back is as flat as it will go naturally to the mat. So we don't want an artificially large arch here. We don't want to be able to fit our whole arm under, if at all possible. Some people, their back's a little bit fused down the bottom, so that might not be possible to flatten it out a bit more. But just have a go at tilting your pelvis. Try and get the back of the top of the pelvis down towards the floor, and see how flat your back gets. How flat your back gets as you do that. Now that's your neutral. And then as we do the hard work, you're going to push your belly button down towards your spine to try and keep the back flat. So as we extend the legs, trying to keep that flatter back position and not let the pelvis tilt and the back arch. Don't want that movement to happen. If you do feel that starting to happen, just bring your legs back, stop extending them. So can you remember, we start with the knees tucked up, we check our backs nice and flat, pushing it down towards the floor, as much contact between the mat and your back as you can manage. And then as we breathe out, we take the knees apart and extend the legs. So maybe you're only going to go halfway. And then bring the legs together and then bring them back. This is not a boot camp type exercise. You need to be very mindful as you start to extend. Really pay attention to your lower back. Is it moving away from the mat? Or can you use your belly to push it down? Belly to spine. If you feel it moving away, if you feel the top of the pelvis moving away from the mat, you need to bring the legs back in towards the chest. So say you've got halfway extended and you can feel that movement, bring the knees back together, bring the knees back up to the chest. And as you practice, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but as you practice you will be able to do it further as your core gets stronger. And again, it's not about how many of these can you do, it's about how many can you do well. Let's take the hands behind the back of the thighs, draw the knees up to the chest. This is a great thing to do if you feel any tightness building up in the lower back. Squeeze the shoulder blades back towards the mat as well, so you're opening up the chest. And let's just point and flex the feet a couple more times. When we've been quite sedentary, just this simple movement can be enough to help to start loosen us up. I'm going to curl my head up towards my knees and curl my chest up towards my thighs. If that's too much for you, stay with your head resting down on the mat or on your pillow. But if you can, On and out breath. Curl up. And on and in breath. Curl back down. And lengthening as you breathe in. Maintaining that length as you breathe out. Your tummy is really helping to raise you up. Head goes towards knees, chest goes towards thighs. Gently working that core. We're going to try a bit of rock and roll. Now, in my old classes, this was one of the most Marmite exercises. People either loved it or hated it. So let's see what you think. We're going to keep the hands behind the thighs for now. That's the easiest option. Breath in, breath out, curl up. And now we're going to try and rock. It's called rock and roll. We're going to do 3 things to start the movement. We're going to kick our legs like so. We're going to breathe out harder, and we're going to really squeeze our belly to our spine and see if we can get some momentum going. You come up and then you allow the spine to curl and go back. If you just come up and don't want to go back down again, that's fine. If you like it, do a few more. My favourite variation is called the seal. I'll show you that another day. Give yourself a little clap with your feet as you do it in that. Okay. One more and we'll come up to sitting. If you're already in sitting, that's fine. Big stretch, push the chest forwards, open up the chest again. We're going to try some reverse tabletop or reverse plank. Now, reverse tabletop is the best place to start. Have your hands however you like. So I teach so unlike the textbooks, I can't even remember what the textbook is for this. Probably hands towards there. No, don't know. Just put your hands wherever they're comfortable. Anyway, so the first thing I want you to try, we're lengthening the spine, we're pushing the chest forwards, keeping the head in line with the spine. Really draw the pelvic floor up, draw the belly into the spine. As we breathe out, we're pushing the hips up. Now, if you only get to about here and you need to come down, you're just going to repeat that. So breath in, lengthen, breath out, push up. Breath in, come down and lengthen. Breath out, push up. So that's your level 1. Level 2 is pushing all the way up so that your hips are in line with your knees and shoulders. It's a great way to really stretch out the chest. It's a great core exercise. And if you can, you're going to hold it there for a few breaths. If you're gritting your teeth, clenching your teeth, come back down. That's a big cheat, and I'll explain why in another video. So big breath in, big breath out, either just halfway and coming straight back down, or getting up. Maybe you get all the way up but you don't want to hold it. Maybe you get all the way up and you want to hold it for ages. If you want to hold it for ages, you could add maybe some heel raises, or even lifting one foot up, but you must keep those hips lifted. Anything that you do that makes the hips drop down means you've got to come back down. So that's level 2 and 3. Level 4 is a complete reverse plank. So for that, your legs are going to be long, and you're just one big straight line. And then go back down. I had my hands a little bit too far forwards for that. I'm just going to take them back. I am doing this in a very reduced space. I'm only 5'4" and I can only just fit. But I'm blessed to have anywhere to do yoga, so I'm not complaining. Deep breath in, breath out. So don't worry if you're nowhere near reverse plank yet. Level 1 tabletop is just as good. You get the benefits from doing what is a challenge to you. Okay. I'm going to stay this way round to do a little bit of pigeon stretch, and then we're going to come to a close. So you can do this sitting up, or you can do it lying down. As I'm sitting up, I'll show you sitting up to start with. I'm going to take the left foot across the right thigh, pull the right thigh up towards you. Now you can either keep your feet on the floor, or you can lift the foot off the floor and really pull the right knee in towards you. You've got to keep lengthening the spine though. If you want more, you can extend that leg a bit and try and pull it in a bit more. That is removing it from the easy realm though. Let's try the other side. Crossing the leg over. Both hands go behind the thigh. Keep the spine lengthened as you pull the knee up. Find that stretch in the outside of the opposite hip. So my right foot's across the top of my thigh. It's my right outer hip that I'm stretching. Keep the lengthening spine. To make it harder, stretch the leg, but keep pulling the thigh towards you so you're getting that stretch in the right leg. Pop that down. Do more of that if you like, or roll back down onto your back, and we'll do the lying down version. Left leg over right thigh. Right thigh pulls up, hands behind the thigh. Pull in. Hopefully you can feel that stretch starting to happen around here. Keep the shoulder blades pressing back towards the mat. Keep the chest as open as you can. If you want to make it a bigger stretch, straighten the right leg and draw the whole of the right leg in towards you. And you should feel that stretch more in the outside of the left thigh. If you have the arm length or the flexibility, you can maybe grab hold of the toes and pull it in even more. If you like, you can add a little bit of a rock here. I always encourage you to explore with your own body and find what feels good for you, because we've all got tightness in different places. We've all got things we can and can't do. So generic yoga classes are just that. They're not taking into consideration anybody's unique capabilities. So other side, right leg up, crosses over left, keeping the back flat. Draw the left knee in, take the hands behind the thigh, pull in, find that stretch in the outer right thigh. Maybe straighten the left leg, maybe get a deeper stretch in the right thigh. Maybe grab hold of the toes, or if you've got a yoga strap, this is a lovely time to use it. You can loop the strap around the foot and get a much deeper stretch. With that, maybe add a little rock side to side. And then relax down. Stretch that leg up. Pop that leg back down. And then to close, we're just going to do a little bit of happy baby. So we're going to bring both knees up to the chest, rotate the ankles in both directions, And then reach both hands between the knees. See if you can grab hold of the shins or the ankles. If you're lucky enough to be able to grab hold of the feet, we're going for the outside edge of the feet. And then we're starting off just rocking. Rockety rock. And then we're going to raise the feet up so the soles of the feet look to the sky. Maybe a little bit of rock in here. And then just exploring. Can you straighten a leg? Can you straighten both legs? What feels nice? What feels horrible? Just playing like the happy baby. Rolly, rolly, roll. You can get a little bit of massage around the very lower bit of the back, down where it meets the pelvis. You can just try stretching the legs out. Just do what feels good to you here. I'm desperately trying to keep my shoulder blades, they're not going to be on the mat, but as close to the mat as possible to keep my chest as open as possible. And then when you're ready, bringing the legs back down, bring the knees together, taking your hands behind your thighs, drawing the knees up to the chest. On an out breath, raising your chest, raising your head. And we're going to rock and roll once more to come up to sitting. Deep breath in and breathe out. Kick up to sitting. I never did take my poncho and my socks off, but I do feel a lot better. An hour ago I was feeling terrible and like there was no way I could record this video. Now I feel like I might just go and make a few more of the migraine diary videos. Comment below if you'd like me to send you info about the migraine videos that I'm going to do. Let me know if you like this slow, cozy style of yoga. I find it perfect in the winter. In the summer I sometimes do a more powerful practice, but in the winter oftentimes I just need to rest and nurture myself. And it's what this kind of practice is perfect for. Let me know what you think. See you in the next one.